Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
I talked to an individual, and he was asking me if this was a callback. I told him yes, and he started taking my information. I gave him my real name. I gave him all of his phone number. He couldn't find it. He said, something's wrong. And I said, that's because I'm the sheriff of Ector County. And he immediately hung up.
Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths is calling out scammers. Literally, ECSO wants to warn people of a scam involving persons impersonating law enforcement officers. We have the details coming up in just a few minutes. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our CBS 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. We start tonight with news in our community. When veterans return home from military service, it can be difficult to make the adjustment, and it can be even harder to ask for help, especially around the holidays. The Permian Warrior Partnership aims to make that transition easier. When a veteran contacts the Permian Warrior Partnership for help, they decide what they need help with, and the PWP stays in contact with the veteran until they received the help they need. Veterans are typically contacted within 24 hours and told about many resources available to them, such as disability, education, health care, and more.
There's so much that veterans that we don't know, the services that are out there for veterans, and that's really what we do first, is to try to inform the veterans of the benefits that are available to them and their families.
It's not always a big undertaking to help a veteran. Sometimes the smallest gesture makes the biggest impact.
We just took a tree to a veteran. That's all he wanted. He just wanted a tree. They didn't have a tree, him and his wife. And so we found a tree, some ornaments, and a tree skirt, took it over, delivered it to them, and made their day.
Veterans can feel comfortable talking to other veterans, and if we can meet that need with just a response of a text message, a hug, a Christmas tree, a food box, it's priceless.
The PWP opened less than a year and a half ago, and they have already closed over 300 cases, helping veterans with a 98% success rate. Occidental Petroleum announced that it is acquiring Crown Rock, a Midland-based oil and gas producer. According to a news release from Oxy, it says that the deal is valued at about $12 billion. The deal is expected to close in the first quarter of 2024 based on regulatory approval. Oxy says that Crown Rock's assets expand their scale in the Midland Basin. This would also boost Occidental's Permian production by 170,000 barrels of oil per day to 750,000.
You can't trust a company that, they say one thing and at one point, and then all of a sudden they're changing everything up to their convenience. So we gave them an inch and they started taking miles.
Andrews County residents are once again raising concern over the dumping of waste, but the Commissioner's Court seems to be split. The Andrews County Commissioner's Court had a special meeting last Wednesday about Waste Control Specialist facility in Andrews County. It was to consider a resolution for greater than Class C waste at the current WCS site. The vote on this resolution was stopped on a 2-2 vote, and residents say that enough is enough. This facility opened in 2009 as a low-level facility for compact waste, taking in materials that are classified as Class A, B, and C and considered low-level waste. WCS told Andrews County residents that this would be a quiet and low-level waste facility. Back in 2014, WCS sent a letter to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality petitioning to change their rules and allow them to dispose of waste classified as greater than Class C. Now, 9 years later, that petition could become a reality.
If the feds get their way, it's all going to go to Andrews. And this is more of a burden than that community ever agreed to take on. And really, it's just going to benefit Waste Control Specialists and their owners, J.F. Lehman, out of New York. This isn't for the benefit of the community.
If this petition goes through, it will mean anything disposed at the facility that is greater than Class C or GTCC-like or transuranic waste will be under federal jurisdiction. Many there feel that WCS has not been transparent with the community. Time now to talk your weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teever-Teller joins us on this Monday evening. Tom, we had a cool weekend, kind of warmed up a bit today, but get ready for some changes, right?
That's exactly right, Jay, as we're looking at our best chance at some rain in quite a while. Let's go ahead and take a look outside at the community Christmas tree in Odessa. Beautiful evening out there as we are looking at not too much in the way of wind gust right now. We are seeing a southeasterly wind, though. That's why I'm showing you this. It's up to 16 miles an hour in and around the Fort Stockton area. And that's bringing in some higher levels of moisture across the areas. We're looking at temperatures cooling off into the mid 40s right now out there. Now, that next storm system is going to bring some rain to the forecast. Excuse me, but we are going to be looking for the heaviest stuff to be off to the north and northeast is what we are currently looking at. But anywhere, excuse me, of up to 1 to 2 inches a possibility across the Permian Basin Wednesday and Thursday.
We are tracking crime now. The Midland County Sheriff's deputies were involved in a shooting in Greenwood around noon today. Sheriff's office telling CBS7 that there was no threat to the Greenwood community. The suspect was barricaded in a home but was the only person inside. Sheriff's office surrounded the home and had SWAT and negotiators on the scene. Texas Rangers are now investigating, which is protocol for officer-involved shootings. It's the most wonderful time of the year, but is also the time of the year when scam callers start dialing more. The Ector County Sheriff's Office is warning you of these scam calls, particularly people pretending to be an Ector County Sheriff's deputy. It's not the first time that scammers have claimed to be a law enforcement officer. In scams, small details are often overlooked, but it's important to remember that the Sheriff's Office will never call asking for money or payment.
But I did talk to an individual, and he was asking me if this was a callback. I told him yes. And he started taking my information. I gave him my real name. I gave him all of his phone number. He couldn't find it. He said, something's wrong. And I said, that's because I'm the sheriff of Ector County. And he immediately hung up.
If you are concerned about falling victim to a police scam, you can always call the law enforcement agency's non-emergency line to clarify if it's real or not. Now we bring you an update on a story we first told you about last month. 311 Ministries had more than 212 Midland families with children who were in need of Christmas gifts as of this past weekend. The nonprofit was able to get all the gifts for them through sponsorships. Ministry volunteers loaded family cars this weekend. 4 years ago, Yolanda Reyes was one of those caretakers receiving gifts after she unexpectedly began taking care of her grandson. She's been volunteering at 311 for the past 3 years to pay it forward. This year was a full circle moment.
It was hard for me to accept that I couldn't do this for my grandkids. I wanted to show them. And so we started volunteering. And I am very happy to say that a little bit of what we have gotten in the past, we paid it forward, and we actually sponsored 2 children.
Now the nonprofit is back to square one. They help Midland kids year-round with clothes and shoes, and with the recent Christmas giveaways, they will now need to replenish their warehouse. In your education news, Ector County ISD Superintendent Dr. Scott Murray surprised one of ECISD's own. Take a listen.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Cup is a gifted and talented specialist, and he recently became a national board certified teacher. So ECISD administrators surprised him with their congratulations.
Reflection is the biggest thing that it's taught me, is because, at the end of the day, at the end of the lesson, if you don't reflect back, what are you gaining from it? And you can't improve on your craft. And teaching's a craft. And that's what I think that's what it's really taught me, is to reflect and have the students reflect on themselves also.
National board standards were created by teachers for teachers. There are 25 certificate areas. Over the weekend, students from Odessa Christian manned a hot chocolate booth, and donations from that booth were then used to buy stuffed animals to donate to Ronald McDonald House charities. They were set up in a neighborhood with plenty of Christmas lights, which means plenty of West Texans wanting a warm drink. Students also sold blankets to make money, and it all stays in Odessa. In fact, the gifts will be given out at Medical Center Hospital. In sports, the University of Texas Permian Basin held a meeting today to announce they will start a UTPB Special Olympics campus. Representatives of the school heard from Keaton Bentley, who established a Special Olympics college program at the University of South Carolina, as well as UTPB coach Chris McCullough. The school is working on a special event with athletes of Special Olympics in February and also forming a student chapter on campus to help welcome Special Olympic athletes to the college life. I was also there in attendance to assist in helping with that program. Look for more on this in the coming months. Everyone loves a good comeback story. Michael Jordan in 1995, the Boston Red Sox in the 2004 World Series, and Odessa High's DeJuan Green. Green was thriving on the football field when he was a sophomore. He moved to running back and was ready to become a huge part of the future of the Bronco offense. In spring of 2022, that future would be in question after an off-season workout. He had trouble moving and had to be taken to Lubbock, where he would then have surgery.
To be honest, I was like relieved just knowing that I was going into surgery and they were going to just, whatever it was, they was going to help me. You know, I was really just, like, I was just so focused on feeling better, like, I didn't care for anything else. Like, I didn't have no sports in mind. And then the doctor, she told me, like, I most likely won't play football ever again. So I slowly started to lose interest in football. Like, I didn't think I was going to play again.
Now, because of this injury, DeJuan missed his junior year on the football field.
With him being an athlete, it was nothing out of the usual. We were thinking it was something small, until I took him home, and then it was like this just loud cry, and he's never just screamed like that. It was actually like hollering.
I had a sharp pain in my back, like if I was getting hit in the back with like a hammer or something. And I didn't know what it was, so I just, like I had put my head down and I was resting, but it started getting worse.
Flash forward to 2023, DeJuan's senior year, where he scored the game-winning touchdown against crosstown rival Permian. Tune into CBS7 News tomorrow for part 2 of his incredible journey to recovery. Now for a look at today's top headlines, shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead, we have a news story for you about the Ector County District Clerk's team. We'll introduce you to them up next here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. All new tonight at 9, Ector County celebrated 10 of its women's achievements today. District Clerk Clarissa Webster says the women are like a well-oiled machine that help people throughout the county get what they need in court. Webster says while her team isn't used to the spotlight, it was a good way to share what they do with the community.
If you never hear of my staff in the news, it's because they're doing a phenomenal job. It's like good housekeeping. If the house is clean, nobody notices who cleans it. It's only when it's a mess. So this is a way for me to talk about them when there's no mess. They're just that awesome.
Sheriff Mike Griffiths and Judges Dustin Fawcett and Justin Lowe were also there to recognize all of the employees.
Well, we are going to be looking at changes in our forecast with another Pacific storm system and cold front. This one's going to have some rain. We'll talk about its impact coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look outside at Starbright Village, where we have our camera there showing you the sights and sounds of the Starbright Village this year. It's opened up to the public from 6 to 11 every evening through the end of the year. So again, great stuff to look at right now. McKinney Park, we're looking at 51 degrees, so a little on the cool side, but you can drive through. Keep warm in your car and look at all the sights and sounds of Christmas. Back towards West Texas tonight. Pretty quiet. We do have those mid to high level clouds streaming across. Made for a great sunset out there. Looking further back to the west, here's where that trough of low pressure and that big storm system starting to wind up around the Four Corners area. Now we have two jet streams we're dealing with, a subtropical one and an Arctic one. And that Arctic one is going to stay to the north. That polar jet's going to stay to our north, so it's going to keep a lot of the cold air bottled up. But this southern jet has been rather active, as you usually see, with an El Nino weather pattern. So this is going to be moving across with the possibility of some rain in our forecast. It looks like later on Wednesday and into Thursday. Right now across the state of Texas, we're dealing with high clouds moving in from the west, but a southeasterly wind is going to bring in some Gulf moisture to portions of the Edwards Plateau into the lower Trans-Pecos and even into the Permian Basin here. Temperatures today, very comfortable across the state. We've warmed up a little bit over what we saw yesterday. Now taking a look at the West Texas Futurecast, keeping those clouds around in the forecast, but here comes the low cloudiness first thing in the morning, spreading into parts of the Permian Basin, so we're going to keep plenty of clouds in the forecast for tomorrow. Not looking for any rain chances until we start to get in earlier on Wednesday. Late on Tuesday, maybe a shower moving across, but not expecting that front to roll in until later on Wednesday into Thursday, and that's going to be the best chance at rain. It looks like the heaviest stuff is going to stay off to our north and northeast for the time being. Moving the clock ahead towards Wednesday night into Thursday, it's going to be a better chance at some rain across the area, and rainfall amounts, well, we're down here on the lower end of all this, up to maybe an inch across parts of the Permian Basin, an inch to 2 inches across the northeast Permian Basin around Big Spring looks to be the best bet for areas to see heavier rains. Rest of tonight, pretty quiet, plenty of clouds, and it will be a little chilly out there with temperatures dropping down into the mid-30s. Tomorrow with the added cloud cover, keeping those temperatures down a few degrees. Upper 50s is what we're going to be dealing with in your CBS7 First Alert exclusive 10-day forecast. Best rain chances with that front Wednesday into early Thursday, and that's going to bring some chillier air to the forecast for the end of the week before we see a nicer weekend. Temperatures moderate a little bit as a second to last shopping weekend before Christmas.
Still ahead, UTPB football signed its championship football coach to a long-term deal. The details are coming up in sports.
Now, sports with sports director Jacob Brandenburg from the Ford Sports Desk.
UTPB made a significant announcement today. The Falcons have signed head football coach Chris McCullough to a new a new long-term contract. McCullough and the Falcons are fresh off their best season in program history. This new deal will run through 2026. It includes incentives to extend to 2029 if the team keeps winning. UTPB says this contract makes McCullough one of the highest paid coaches in the conference. His salary will start at $160,000 per year and will increase each season he stays. The deal also has bonuses for players making good grades and winning a national championship.
We took that first step of making the playoffs, winning conference and all that, but now it's time to look further. Like, I want to be regional champs. I want to be national champs. So, this allows us to get a bigger head start in recruiting. Obviously, winning helps, but showing that the guys we're competing up with, the other universities, that, hey, I'm here to stay and you're going to have to come beat us.
The success of our athletic programs really do contribute to the overall success of the university. We connect the two. The ability for this community to get excited about the athletic programs, but also to invest in the university, to move the athletic programs along, does affect our enrollment. It affects the excitement of students who want to come and make this their home.
This was McCullough's first season at UTPB. The Falcons won 10 games and won the Lone Star Conference Championship for the first time ever. They also played in the program's first NCAA playoff game. In other UTPB news, the Falcons looking for a new head volleyball coach. UTPB parted with Tim Losh after 9 seasons. The Falcons had a winning record this year but failed to make the conference tournament. Robert Blakely is serving as interim head coach. The search for a new head coach is underway and expect someone to be hired before the end of February. We'll have more First Alert sports coverage. Be sure to tune in for CBS 7 News at 10 with Jacob Brandenburg. I don't know if you know this, but it's Jingle Bell season at Taco Bell, and the spicy fast food giant has a holiday gift for its loyal customers. The Tex-Mex chain bringing back the fan favorite double-decker taco for a limited time. For those unfamiliar, it's a crunchy taco with seasoned beef, shredded lettuce, and cheddar cheese. You see it right there, cradled by a bean-filled soft tortilla. It is available at participating locations with a suggested price of $2.99 or $3.69 if you want the double-decker. I guess that's extra stuff.
That's the Supreme. It comes with tomatoes and sauerkraut.
Okay. Taco Bell hasn't said exactly how long the double-decker will be back, but the company plans to keep it available throughout the holidays if you're a fan. I'm a big fan of their Crunch Wrap Supreme. That's what I like.
And I think we know way too much about Taco Bell. Okay.
Well, I'm careful what I eat because, you know, I don't eat. I'm careful, but sometimes it's good.
I think there were times in college I survived on Taco
Well, yeah, because
Bell.
it was cheap.
Yeah,
of course you did.
back
Yeah,
in
of
the
course
day.
you did. Price was low. Yeah.
Well, it was. Anyway, though. Comes in handy sometimes.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, as our forecast, might need to keep those umbrellas handy because we're going to be looking for a few showers in the forecast. Some of the best rain chances we've seen in quite a while coming up in our forecast. Wednesday into Thursday is going to be the best time frame. That's when a cold front arrives, and that's going to bring a little bit of winter chill to the forecast. We're still about a week away from the official start of winter. We've had our fair share so far. Looks like this weekend, everybody getting ready, decorating, last minute decorating, shopping, tell you weather's going to be a little bit better.
Okay, good to hear. Thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW. More news tonight at 10.